The Spin-off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Kia ora, I'm Alex Casey, senior writer at The Spin-off. We wouldn't exist without the ongoing support of our generous members. If you're able to, you can make a donation at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Ready, everyone? Take a sip.
Yeah.
Have a little sip of your coffee.
Raise your glass.
Raise your glasses. Here's to MAFS Australia 2021.
And the great reunion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kia ora, welcome along to the Real Pod. I'm so excited today because not only have we got so much MAFS to talk about, including 3 new couples, there's also a throuple in the mix.
Jesus Christ.
Jane, cancelled off the blocks.
But what if I tell you that the throuple is me, Jane Yee, Alex Casey, who is now back at the Spin-off
Hello.
officially, and also Duncan Grieve. Is that exciting? I think that's exciting.
It's amazing.
Frickin' exciting.
This is a big deal because we haven't all been in the same room together behind microphones for a wee while.
A wee while, but also like knowing that this is a thing that can continue to happen.
Oh my God.
Lovely.
It's exciting.
So
A nice time.
it's like we're home. We've also got Jonathan producing. He may jump on mic every now and again. He's not watching MAFS, but you're keeping up, aren't you? Just via the podcast.
I'm gripped to the podcast.
Very convincing. And I know that there are plenty of cornies as well who are not watching, but they are listening.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it always blows my
They
mind.
have the better end of the deal. Let me tell you that because
Really?
the time.
Oh, the time, yeah. I mean, look, they should just do... Hey, a tip for cornies. You could do the cheat code that I use is just watch the dinner parties because they are unbelievably good TV and there's enough recapery in them that you sort of feel like you keep across the key beats, which means I'm going to be quiet-ish by my standards for the first portions of the show and then come in super hot for the back end.
We'll see.
But appreciate you both doing the actual work.
Can I just shout out to me for doing this and The Bachelor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all... Oh,
Oh,
I like how your voice keeps
she's
failing
tearing up.
at the moment.
I'm tearing up.
It's emotional.
It's emotional and it's a hell of a lot of television. But anyway, this is your reality TV recap podcast. If you are new, welcome. It's chaos, but we hope you like it. Please go ahead and join The Corner, which is our Facebook group. It's called The Real Pod Corner, actually, which is facebook.com/groups/Real Pod Corner. It's a lovely time.
Tell your mates if you listen to MAFS as well.
Yes.
Outreach. Community
yeah.
outreach.
Also, thank you to everyone who has joined The Corner recently and answered the security question by saying, I'm a corny and I'm sorry. There have been quite a few, Alex.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that moves me to tears.
Yeah.
Duncan, do you know what that's about?
I got told yesterday
Okay.
and I got happy when I heard it.
All
so
right.
sweet. I want to get that tattooed
I'm a corny and I'm sorry.
around my wrist or something, like a bracelet.
Around your neck?
Yes.
Under your lip?
Are we doing real news? No. Sorry.
No, we did that in the previous podcast.
I saw Kimmy yesterday, real news.
Oh.
I saw Kimmy at Morningside Tavern.
Kimmy?
Kimmy from The Bachelor.
Kimmy from The Bachelor.
Are you allowed to talk about this?
I think it's my eyes and it's my life at this point. And I saw Jonathan at the mall. Jonathan at St. Luke's not that Jonathan, from The Bachelorette season 1.
Lucina.
The one who had the earring and the pug, who was a very quiet man. Looked like he was having a good
Was
time.
he wearing
at
a
the mall.
hat? I feel like he wore a hat. No hat.
He was dressed head to toe in black.
They are
Curious.
all just merging into one lovely bachelor and bachelorette to me. Let's play the reality check sting.
I have 4 weeks to decide I'm going to drop my entire philosophy.
I am disgusted at how much you have copied my husband.
This is fine. You don't even know.
Reality check.
How do you feel about new couples at this stage, guys?
I love it. I love the weddings. I feel like you might be grizzly about it.
I'm just grizzly about like having to write about more people and remember more names and so on. But I was grizzly for all of about 3.5 minutes and then I was all in.
I also love how, the twist this season that they've decided to invite the pre-existing couples to the wedding. Amazing.
Great twist.
Yeah. I wonder how in advance they planned all of that, because I know that like the first one was Kerry and Thingamy and it's Toby Manheimer, Johnny Thingy-majig, and his whole family couldn't come seemingly last minute, and I wonder if they were just like, we're in a crowd.
No, because they had weddings early on that had literally no one there. Rusty and...
I know, but the balance, because her whole family's there and his isn't.
Oh, okay. But also, what a nice way for the new couples to have to enter into a dinner party is already having met some of these people, way less intimidating.
True.
And probably puts them in a place where they feel they can be a little bit more active in the dinner party.
I just love the way that the show is always innovating within its constraint, which obviously is common to all reality TV to an extent, but there's some kind of sense of like we're always trying to make the show better. And by better, I mean worse
yeah.
for the world,
Yeah.
but better for
The
us
viewing
who can
experience.
just like extract our morality chip for an hour and a half while we
Yeah.
watch it, because it's good watching.
They try and mitigate it though, like they innovate and then they try and come up with like the pseudo-scientific reason behind it.
Yeah.
Like Alessandra's
Watching?
like, good for a surprise for the couples and their relationship to see a stranger. It's like
Like when they make the big deal about because obviously two of the couples, the rest of the cast were aware of because they went to their weddings, but then there was the third surprise couple that they weren't aware of. And I believe that's how they did it, like with Tamara and Dan, and that they just turned up at the dinner party and everyone was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Taking that kind of view of, we've done this to, throw a new dynamic into the mix. It's like, really? Or did you just...
Yeah.
The pseudoscience
good.
of the experts, and like I particularly for some reason John just kills me. Like he's got this really earnest tone and demeanor, and it's like he really believes it, and it's just such like nonsense. And I really like. It's so entertaining. It's such a cool little subplot of the show is watching John sort of buying his own bullshit so happily.
I really enjoy...
disagree. I think John's like going to town in a good way this season. I feel like all the experts are like leveling up. I love the way he just shouts at Bryce and is like, "You're being a huge fucking baby. You need to shut up."
The experts are definitely taking more of an interfering role.
Yes.
I guess I'm talking about when they're watching
Oh, right.
the TV.
Or when my favourite is
Because
when they're
that's what
sitting
I'm
down, like putting the couples together, as if production haven't already decided this, 6 months ago, and they get these photos and they're like, "I think this person would be really good with this person for this reason. What do you think?" And they're like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Well, shall we go with this couple then?"
So good.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, let's talk about the new couples. We start with Johnny and Kerry. So both of them are divorced. She is... I can't remember what he does for a job. What does he do?
He's a theatre...
Oh, he's a theatre manager or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both did hands just then.
Yeah, because that's the
Theatre
international
hands.
sign for theatre. And Kerry is an occupational therapist. Getting on in years? Or she'll miss the boat. No, she's not.
Oh,
but,
right.
in her story.
Right.
She's worried
So
she'll
she's
miss the
like
boat.
30 or something.
Yeah,
And they're like, she's only got 5 minutes left.
These two are impossibly cute, and I want them to work out forever.
These two have an inner light that I have not seen for
Yeah.
a long time in any person. I love it. I'm obsessed with them. I think they're gonna go all the way. All the way.
What do you think, Duncan? Because you only saw them at the dinner party.
I barely saw them at the dinner party,
Right.
because like my whole being was transfixed by Bryce and what have you.
She was the one James like had his arm around her in the final minutes when he was doing his big sort of...
Oh, his big disgusting,
Yeah,
kind of
disgusting.
I'm
I'm
single,
single,
Jamesing
therefore you
out.
are too, I assume.
Yeah.
Because she's lovely. They're lovely.
They are lovely.
Yeah.
They had. She has a really good relationship with her ex, whom she just moved out from. Living with not that long ago, like they divorced and continued living together for a while because they're such good pals, but there's no spark, right? So they're basically flatmates, and this is just a slight cause for concern with Johnny because the ex is like texting and going, "How's it going? Like, is it going good? What's he like?"
I mean, He said it made him sick.
Yeah, he did. He perhaps overreacted a little bit, but she handled it really well, I thought, by saying, look, I understand why you would feel this way, and I would probably feel the same way if I didn't have the context around it, which is that we are truly just friends, and that's all it will ever be. And I think she showed a real empathy, at the risk of sounding like an expert. She showed real empathy in seeing where he was coming from and understanding why he felt that way, and it, they managed to talk it out, and it was quite lovely. But it was quite tense for a moment there over the big plate of prawns.
Yeah, there was an amazing edit where, like, in his interview, Johnny was like, it actually makes me sick. And then it cut to, like, her doing this, like, discuss. You know how you have to get really into, like, prawns? You know, like, you have to deal with a lot of
These are prawns still in their
entrails.
entire, like, bodies.
Yeah, and it was just her kind of, like, grossly picking apart this prawn.
I can't overstate the size of this platter of prawns, though. There must have been
was a lot.
50 prawns on there for two people, plus mussels, plus some other dishes. And then when she did this lovely little picnic for him in the rain, very romantic, to try and make him feel better and reassure him, so much food. Like massive plates of bread, 6 sandwiches, entire platters. And the complete opposite of the Bachelor NZ, where you get like 2.5 crackers and a slice of tomato.
You feel like really strongly like it's the same crackers.
Oh, yeah,
That
it's
are
the same packet.
They're just journeying out, and they
crackers.
get put back in. Those crackers are soggy.
I can't possibly comment, of course.
That's kind of it, really, on them. Have you got anything to add?
No, I think that's all. I kind of got where Johnny was coming from.
Oh,
Like, I'd
totally.
like to say that I could be the mature one and be absolutely chill with that and be like, yeah, it's sexy if you want.
No, not
Like,
cool.
if Joe looks at somebody else, I'm like, I'm gone.
Yeah.
We're over. You know, like tunnel vision on me all the time.
Is that why he walks around with a blindfold? Pictures of Alex Casey on the
Pictures of me on
inside.
the inside, yeah. Yeah. If I ever die, I said yes, a stereo photo of me until he dies. And that's it.
We'll make sure that happens.
So I get it. But she was very good dealing with it. And she is that classic person. I made a note. You know, people who say, when she's like, it's a bit of a bummer, hey. You know, people who say hey at the end of sentences like that is a very specific type of person.
I think I do that.
I think I do that.
Would you go, a bit of a bummer, hey?
Yeah.
Would you?
I think I remember deliberately starting to do that like 13 years ago, and I don't do it all the time. But like I think I called it off Amber, who's like head of our video production wing, and I love it when she does it.
I don't know who I called it off, but I
You
think
don't tend to like it, Alex.
No, I think I'm really impressed by people that do it. Like, I think it's awesome.
Okay.
I'm not a bit of a bummer, hey. I say a.
No, I use them interchangeably.
Yeah,
So a bit of hey, a bit of a.
mood
Dude.
based.
Foot in
Okay, I'm
each
going to
camp.
keep an eye out for this. What about you, Jonathan? Are you a hey guy?
I think, like Duncan, I admired people who said hey, but I haven't been able to work it into my own lexicon
Yet.
yet.
Now we're going to try.
Hey.
Because I
Give it
want
a
to
go.
commit to the New Zealandness of A, but like hey just gives it a slightly different vibe.
It's sort of like a bit European or something.
Yeah.
A bit exotic.
It's very exotic. Yeah, it's definitely you got ears now.
Okay, let's move on to Liam and Georgia. I love these two.
Wow.
I was worried that MAFS were going to do a bad thing and set up someone who is bisexual with someone who is not going to cope with someone being bisexual, but they didn't. So Liam's a farm boy. He's his dad left when he was 10. He's really cut up about this, and he's the first bisexual man that they've had on the show.
Amazing.
I can't remember a bisexual woman, do you? But presumably there must have been. Georgia loves pink. And when I say pink, I mean, I assume she probably loves Pink the singer, but she loves pink the colour like nothing
Who
else.
doesn't love Pink the singer?
I mean,
Really?
Oh, no. I was trying to think of the name of that bar that didn't let Pink in. Deadshot.
Deadshot.
Don't let
That's
Pink.
right.
They don't love
Good.
Get out of here, Pink. What an interesting character she is.
she really is. She's super chill about the big reveal that that Liam's bisexual, and especially the way that it happened. Like, I think he wanted to sit down and tell her, but what happened was at the reception, Dunk. The existing cast, brought it up in conversation. Hey, they were just I said,
Oh
hey.
my God.
But how,
You did it.
I did it organically.
Yeah.
See?
Wow.
See?
This is fantastic.
how did they know?
They didn't know. They asked. It sort of came up in a roundabout way.
It came up so weirdly. Like, maybe it was just like because we knew what we knew about Liam. But even in the build-up, there was that strange, sort of vaguely bromancy joke thing.
Yes, but there was also what they were saying is, what are your non-negotiables? What are your
Yeah.
non-negotiables? And he was like, I don't have any non-negotiables. And she said someone who's not open-minded. She was like, someone who's not open-minded is a non-negotiable for me. And then I think it was Alana said, so what if they swing the other way? Is that not a non-negotiable? And someone just blurted out, are you bisexual? And
It
he
was Bex.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was someone
It's gotta be a
else.
plan.
Seeded
And he was
that.
like, yes, I am. And then they did this, they did the big dramatic like cut to kind of awkward faces of Georgia, and we went to the break, and then we come back and she's like, cool, great. I don't care about that. I'm, all that matters now is going forward is you and me. And they discussed it a lot later on as well, and she was completely just amazing.
These shows are so confounding, Like, because they have these almost arbitrarily, they'll take like a social issue and do like an absolutely brilliant mass education job for the people watching, or just like the worst nightmare gender stereotype roles, and then you just kind of, they contain multitude. They just are both.
Yeah.
Do you think it kind of breaks even in the end? Like the progress and the
No.
what's the opposite?
Regress.
Regress. Bit of an interesting one, hey.
It is. Oh, well done. A little forced, but you're getting there.
I think the experts like actively talking about gaslighting now
Yeah.
feels like, new, like that, like rather than just seeing it, actually naming it.
Yeah, and Mike Gunner and Heidi was the first time I really understood what gaslighting was. So I was educated, and we've seen plenty of gaslighting in this season as well.
You know what? You could actually do some really cool research.
Wow,
Like, if you're I know,
Yeah.
massive nerd, but like if you had a control group of like, 1,024 Australians who were regular MAFS watchers, and then controlled for demographics and just did other Australians and had an attitudinal survey about a bunch of things, that would be a really cool thing to know.
That would be cool to
I
know.
think you'd find people understanding of what some of the stuff is that they don't want or that they might see in relationships from now. I mean, that's kind of what you're getting at, right? Like,
Yeah.
It is.
Like, is it a net positive for society based
Yeah.
on people kind of learning?
being able to identify toxic behaviour?
Yeah.
And also having examples of people who are really strong, and then seeing someone like Melissa who you're like, whoa, I think I've been like that once upon a time, and I now that I see it objectively, it's not like it's terrible for her, the way she's just so submissive and ready to roll on anything. It's a shame that she has to be on the national telly doing that
She
for
has to
all of
be
our benefit.
the crash test dummy, unfortunately. Just on the progressive sort of conversations around Liam and Georgia, farting in the relationship.
Yeah.
When, where, who, how.
Okay.
When is the right time?
He really wants her to fart and burp. He's like, that's a sign of us being close.
He wants her to fart like a little too much. Don't you reckon?
Well,
he's like,
indeed.
he's just like a little fart and it'll be all good.
I wonder if we came in on like at the end of a conversation where they were talking like they were talking about like needing to fart and not feeling ready, and him being like just break the seal, so to speak, just do one little fart and then we golden. But then he was like, I wanted to fart and burp. I want do it.
And she was like, I don't. Liar.
I'm a magic lady.
I have a friend who says they don't burp. They swear that, and I'm like, well, I don't know.
You know
Like
who-
they can't
You know
burp?
who does?
Jane Yee can burp on command.
On command.
I've
Did
already,
it
I've already
yesterday
done it
on a podcast.
So
Do you know my big claim to fame? If you listen to BFM, there's a sting that someone burping BFM cheers. It's me.
What?
It's me. I'm the BFM cheers.
What? How?
Because Joe used to do the ads for them, and he got me in and was like, "Can you just do a bunch of, a bunch of whatever?"
Bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah. And I burped. I used to be able to do it better. Like I could burp words,
yeah.
and I do BFM cheers. I don't want to do it now because I feel like I'm going to
If
be
you
sick.
can burp words, you can definitely add on a hey.
BFM cheers.
What was that? Oh, oh well.
That was nothing.
This is it's burp week.
Yeah, burp week on the spin-off. No one asks for it, no one wants it. It's heinous. Hey, Liam.
Yeah.
I haven't seen like heaps of him because obviously he's one of the nice, happy people.
Yeah.
He did like, and I can't tell whether I'm just sort of projecting this like due to like a particular kind of physicality or whether it's real. But does he have a little bit of the Troy stuff?
No.
No.
He's just a
Not
nice
at all.
person.
He's just a nice guy.
You missed Rusty and Coco, who you would have loved. Both
You
of
would have
whom.
loved. Oh, you would have loved
You
Rusty.
would have loved Rusty. He had
Was
a bit
he
of the,
what like
the-
a
He was a bit of a Troy, bit of a David Seymour vibe.
Oh.
Yeah, he was a real
Love
treat.
it.
Yeah.
Doesn't know what salmon is.
Let's just quickly
Fantastic.
talk about the honesty box that Liam and Georgia had to partake in. They both want to wait a few years for kids. Great. Then came the question, how many sexual partners have you had? She's like, I've had 5 or 6. I feel like if you've had 5 or 6, you know if you've had 5 or if you've had 6, by the way. And then she asked him, and he was, and it was like, more than 30? Yep. 50 plus? Quite a few.
50 plus could be anything.
I mean,
That's
I love
right,
it.
right.
Yeah, it could be 2,629, you know. And again, they went to break with her kind of having a face on of like shock, but they come back and she's like, chill. That's cool. I don't care. Like, what's the proportion men to women? Tell me more.
Give me a breakdown on a pie chart.
And if you're interested, about 5 or 6 dudes and the rest ladies. But he's never dated any guys. Her only issue with him, and there's quite a big one, is pants are a bit short.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So but she's like, that's fixable. She's like, that's
well,
fixable.
it's not, though. It's actually a really difficult thing to get right.
Right.
I think it's a MAFS thing as well, isn't it? Or is that just fashion?
Oh, it's just like it's like they all have to have the same haircut. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things to discuss there.
Yeah.
Don't have time.
Anyway, after that night, they had sex together. So that's now 51 plus and 6 or 7 for her. So
7.
moving on.
She said, and also she was like, we're officially married, if
Yeah.
you get what I mean.
I love that.
Chris and Jamie, these two are the least happy of our happy new 3 couples. He is a tall, soft giant, self-proclaimed. He's dyslexic. He has 2 daughters. He's a FIFO worker, so 2 weeks here, 2 weeks away. And he's super romantic and very Australian. He's got Hemsworth vibes to me.
I love him.
It's just the giant.
Yeah, very big torso.
chest,
Giant.
huge chest.
He's so kind.
And he's so sweet
and romantic. I don't
and
know what a
emotional.
FIFO is.
Fly in,
Fly
fly
out.
out. So works 2 weeks on ground.
Was it fly flow?
No, FIFO.
FIFO.
Fly in, fly out. It's an acronym.
Oh, okay. Fly flow.
Fly flow. You should, just to kind of increase your just general air of sophistication, you should, where you get the opportunity, call it fly flow.
I'm doing a fly flow visit. So I could use that. And if I was
No.
going to Wellington.
No,
No.
no, it's a type of
Oh, shit.
employment where you have 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, but your 2 weeks on generally are
Oto, that's
Swear.
on the other hand, maybe you should just start misusing it and pronouncing it fly flow.
Fly flow.
These are just some things you can do with your life.
okay. Jamie is a marketing and brand manager. She's a farm girl. She's got a dog called Rocky that she thinks is her child. She's frozen her eggs just in case. And little red flag here, her nickname amongst everyone is the princess.
The princess.
She didn't come across that princess here at the beginning, but we got there a bit, didn't we?
Yeah. Did you kind of see a red flag when it was like, there was almost like a content warning by the expert being like, now what we'd like to do sometimes is match people who aren't very well suited to each other because it's kind of interesting for the science
Yes,
or whatever.
yes,
And it was
yes.
like, shit, something bad's going to happen.
Yeah. They're like, it could go one of 2 ways.
Yeah.
She's used to dating high flyers who are emotionally unavailable. And the experts are like, will she appreciate the change or fall back into old habits? She doesn't seem keen at all when she walks down the aisle.
The hair is a big problem.
Yeah. And
I can understand that. It's a pretty full-on example of the form.
it is really intense. And the way I literally saw him washing his hair at one point during this week.
Saw his bum a
Yet
bit
his
in a
hair's
his bum.
but he also but his hair looks quite greasy. So he's a lot of product.
It's product. You can fix that.
But you can grow your hair and change your hair unless you're married to Troy.
Side merkins to cover the bald bit. It's
You
fine.
don't hear about side merkins as much these days, do you?
She doesn't like the tattoos. He's not manicured enough. He does yoga and she thinks yoga's a bit slow. I mean, obviously deal breakers all around.
He scuba dives.
Yeah,
she doesn't want
she
to.
don't want to.
He scuba dived 200 to 300 times. There's got to be a number in there. You know, like that's like 5 or 6.
Then he does his vowels, and of course he's dyslexic, so he struggles with that. And another thing, she's like, we're like from different worlds. He left school quite young. I went to uni. She doesn't like how
That's a yuck.
he said something like, I'm not very good at English, but I'm smart in every other way. He hasn't told her he's dyslexic, I don't think. But she seems to be judging him very heavily on his ability to read from speech cards.
It's awful.
He did a lovely speech at the wedding, and
He's
it turned
so
her around
sweet.
quite a lot.
Is he, like, when this inevitably falls apart as it is intended to, like, it feels like there are lots of eyes on him from the pack of unsatisfied women that inhabit every MAFS season. Like, is he too nice to recouple, or is that a thing that could happen?
He wouldn't on the show.
I don't think he would, no. I don't think he would unless she sort of left him first kind of thing. If he was liberated, maybe he would. I don't feel like he's the type to. I don't know, but who knows?
He's not going to go cam on it.
We're always being surprised. When she pulls him up on his bad English, because I think he says "ux,"
Yeah.
he excuses himself to go to the toilet, and then he comes back from the toilet and she has him up about not washing his hands. And these guys, in this moment, fast forwarded to a couple who've been together for 10 years and argued, like, overly familiarly.
I couldn't tell if she was joking. Like, she was really aggressive.
It sounded like she started out as a joke, but then she meant it.
Yeah.
And she was like, let me smell. He's like, I did wash my hands. And she's like, let me smell them.
Smell them. And
I
he was
do,
like,
I do that
"What?"
with my children.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is the whole point, right? She's like completely patronising him. And then she says, there's fucking soap for a reason, you dirty grot.
You dirty grot. How dare she say that?
I can't tell you how many times I've used the word grot since I watched that.
Really?
Some 50 plus.
You dirty grot.
You
I
dirty
mean,
grot is-
amazing scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrible lady.
Horrible
situation.
Horrible. Like, also, my take is that she gave him shit about his English. He excused himself to the loo, not to actually use the loo, but to compose himself and maybe have a wee cry. So if he didn't wash his hands, it's probably because he didn't touch his bits. I mean, he might have. I don't know.
True.
I don't know. Anyway,
It's an interesting point. It's so upsetting.
he had her up about it the next day about trying to change him and her being disrespectful. So, I mean, I don't think there's a lot of hope for them long term, but I appreciate that he's sticking up for himself. Let's get on to the commitment ceremony. We'll cruise through this because Duncan's got to be somewhere soon.
I've got to head out.
What?
Booker and Brett, very boring. They stay. Russell and Beth are sad, so they leave. Both of them leave. I'm so sad. It was a horrible moment. I hated this commitment ceremony.
Oh, is Russell the older chap who were like sort of
Glasses.
dirty dog vibes?
Yes, very
Dirty
much
dog
so.
the
He wears kind of like
sunglasses
white
brand.
Paul Henry suits and suspenders.
And he has his pocket square already preloaded into his jacket before he puts it on. Is that normal?
No.
No, you do it once it's on, right?
Yeah, but also feels like his
Efficient?
thing. Yeah. I mean, he might even have it sewn in. Like, I'm sure that is a thing that starts to happen.
Sure. Bryce and Melissa. Okay, here's your office moment for the week.
Yeah, what do we got?
Okay. Well, we started the whole episode on Bryce not knowing who Gonzo is. when Sam had been
Sam.
calling him Gonzo the previous week. Mr. Toad
Wait.
from The Office.
Oh, yeah.
When David Brent's finding out all the nicknames people have from him, doesn't know who Mr. Toad is.
The most amazing thing is, it was like, got to be some kind of cartoon character. Googled him, was like, not bad looking.
Not a bad looking
It's like
Gonzo.
having a real positive read
Yeah.
on Gonzo.
Gonzo is my favourite Muppet, so not an insult as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And the commitment ceremony. Oh, okay, so it all goes Pete Tong, as they used to say in Australia about 15 years ago, when they bring up Sam and the Bucks Night nervous comment thing.
Is that when he's like, I can't afford to be nervous
And
in my
my
job,
line-
mate. I'd be out of a job.
In my
So
line of
psycho.
work, I can't afford to be nervous. So Bryce is a regional radio host.
Yeah, I know this. I like never has so innocuous and totally normal a comment started such an enormous feud.
It's
like
so crazy.
because when they replay, you're like, no, that's just absolutely an ice-breaking kind of.
Yeah.
Who would not be on TV waiting to be married in front of millions of people? Like,
Yeah, Sam says he was nervous too. You know, like
Yeah.
that's what Bryce is insanely defensive and goes straight to like 1,000 every time. It's so nuts. John tells them they were both really rude and goes really hard on Bryce's behaviour and the effect on Melissa. But and he's
Well,
like,
and to give Bryce credit, he's taken it on board and he's really chilled out now.
and John thinks he'll do it again. Bryce says he won't. John's not buying it. And he says, I'm saying BS to that.
Yes to that.
Wow.
I love
long
John.
one.
And John's also like slouching on the couch.
Yeah.
Like
He's so fed
he's
up.
so
I reckon he's
laid
chucked
back.
back a couple of like shots of chartreuse or something just to get himself in the zone.
I love the bit where Bryce was like in negotiations where he's like, I don't know why you keep bringing this up about, me being like a dick. It's like, I don't know why it's relevant. And John's like, this is affecting your relationship. And Bryce is like, in a positive way? And he's like, no, in a negative way.
He is a creature. It's honestly like Australia just has this like weird town that's completely off the box where they make these people and just like give them the worst like formative experiences so that they come out just creatures of reality TV.
Also,
amazing.
just a note, I don't want to see Bryce doing his ITMs in the moment interviews without his top
shirt
on.
on. Yeah.
Please don't do that again. I know it's already all wrapped up, but go back and do a
shocking.
re-edit. It's horrible.
He loves to be in his knickers as well. All over the place. Not for me.
There's a rumour going around that Bryce has a lady on the outside. We'll talk more about that when we get to the dinner party. But when Jason gives Bryce a heads up that this rumour's doing the round, Bryce is like, oh, it's probably one of the girls. I like the drama. And then also said, hopefully she's has blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Also to be like, it's the girls that cause the drama in this show?
Yeah. Like, this
And you're
is
just like constantly exploding as a human.
Belinda and Patrick, stay, obviously. Best bit, Patrick straightening Belinda's hair. Jake and Beck. Beck says leave, Jake says stay, and they're going to hit reset. They're going to press their belly buttons. That's what I do with the kids. Press your belly
It's
button,
just-
reset.
Ah.
Jake that's good. Is Jake the charity CEO?
Yeah.
He's like really good looking.
He is.
He's great.
What's her problem?
She is she's... I don't know.
'Cause
She
I quite like
redeemed
her as
herself.
well. She was, like, amazing
She's
with
been
Bryce.
horrible up to this point, but I think she's
But I
did a
don't
great job with
understand
Bryce.
because I'm like, this dude's kind of a dreamboat.
Yeah.
She doesn't
It's-
like his teeth.
She doesn't like his teeth. He wasn't wearing a tie.
He wasn't.
He stuck his tongue down her throat, aka he sort of like said hello from 20 metres away.
She was on the defensive with him from the word go. Also, she doesn't know who Princess Diana is. So do with that what you will.
Wow.
Yeah, not human.
She's the sasshole. That was how she
Oh, yeah.
described it. So her friends describe
I
her.
love that.
Alana and Jason are absolute horn dogs and they stay. Coco and Sam, obviously, that completely imploded and they both leave.
Got
I
it.
have read that Cam and Coco are no longer together, that distance made it difficult, and that they tried to re-enter the experiment as a couple and they weren't allowed.
They weren't allowed?
Yeah.
What? How dare you?
I think maybe it would just have been like, well, we know that they're happy together. What's like?
Really?
Where's the fun in that?
But they were so.
But Coco.
Yeah.
Just
I know,
to watch
Coco's
Coco
amazing.
at all times.
I mean, Coco's outfit
Oh yeah,
was very bold.
yeah, yeah. And her one-liners. The show's really
I mean,
suffering.
she was just like one of those people where the TV camera does something to their freaking DNA and blood, and it's incredible to watch. Like she is just sort of writhing with the energy of
I
it.
don't think that's the TV camera. I think she's like that all the time. I feel like maybe she possibly
I think
toned it
that
down.
She
probably
exercises a lot.
She definitely does heaps of Pilates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just my gut.
Also, her brand is so strong that she was caught in, like, what's normally kind of the adulterous situation that makes someone a villain. And she came out of it and I was like, Coco's a hero.
Well, that's because her husband was such a dick.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
That's
it's
true.
very different to.
But
to
still, the
Cam.
impact on Samantha of the whole thing.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
was horrendous.
And the way that she sort of set up her interactions with Samantha as if there was some nobility
Yeah,
to them.
Yeah. Woman to woman.
Yeah.
People are saying things.
People are saying, we're so good. It's so good. People are saying, person is saying, at my prompting.
Joe and James, what a train wreck these two have become. I'm so ashamed of myself that I thought James was a good guy at the beginning
We
of all
need to
this.
go back and delete some stuff,
I
Jonathan.
just take all of those episodes offline because James is horrible,
Horrific.
horrible. Okay, so at the commitment ceremony, he pulls out. Did you see this? You didn't watch the commitment ceremony. He sits down and just out of the blue is like, I have to come clean. I'm in love with another woman.
Oh, this is James with the dark hair who did the...
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
He is a He's a
vile.
rat.
Yeah.
The only thing is that, like, I did feel like eventually he did a proper apology and meant it about the frigid commentary.
Yeah, but he's done.
But he still said frigid about
Yeah.
1,000
But
times
he's
before
also
then.
done those very convincing
So-
apologies to his wife before. And I keep, because I remember they were the ones that I was like, they show such a good example of conflict resolution.
Yeah.
And, but so he does those, he seems very genuine when he apologizes, only to like double down the next argument. He's absolutely
Yeah.
horrible.
Look,
He goes and has a
he's
sulk for 2 days.
Yeah. Anyway, he says that the woman he's in love with is Alessandra. It's like giant joke, but he's obviously like made Joe's heart just drop through the floor
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
said it. Then he gets up and gives Alessandra a kiss on the cheek.
Despicable.
Thinks he's being hilarious, and she is just disgusted. And she's like, "That is not a good joke. Like that's not
Yeah.
funny. How do you think that makes Joe feel?"
She did a very good. I feel like there were some good examples this week of like how to call people out without escalate. You know, like as someone, I'm very scared when someone says something problematic or does something troublesome to me. I don't know how to deal with it. Whereas she was just like, I don't understand the joke. Like said that to him. You know, when you put it back on someone.
Yes. Yeah.
Very skillful. And Jake does it later. Does a lot of that in
Yeah.
the at the dinner party.
Jake.
I just love Alessandra.
Okay, so Joe says stay, and James writes, I've written leave, and I've written for now, but I've crossed out the for, referencing the week before she had said stay for now, and it had really upset him.
Just not funny gags,
But it was
man.
also very David Brentish as well.
yeah.
Explaining it, like I've
True.
crossed out the for.
You'll remember this from the just the planning.
Yeah.
I think that's what that's the Brentisms. You see the way he's planned out these jokes.
Yeah.
It's just horrific.
Joe acted out at the wedding that she attended a little bit by sort of
That because it was Kerry and Johnny just like light
The
of
dream
each other's
couple,
lives
yeah.
shining, and then Joe's kind of like drinking a cigarette in the back of the room, being like, "That's gonna change. You're not gonna be happy forever."
You'll give it 5 days and then you'll be on the roller coaster. And then James is like, that's not fair. We were good for 10 days. Anyway, Joe and James go off at the wedding and have a chat. They decide to work things out, but they don't.
Have we talked about the moment where she was like, when he went away or whatever, disappeared, and then she's like, "That's so disrespectful to me," and he's like, "Why is it disrespectful? Who are you to me? You're nothing."
Oh,
He started saying you're nothing, and then he cut himself
Yeah,
off. And
you're
I was like,
nothing.
You're too late.
ooh. A long way down this cul-de-sac.
Also, she drinks a quarter strength cappuccino.
Ooh.
Was there ever a less punchy drink in existence? Why not just get
Quarter-sac? How do you even make
a fluffy?
that?
Okay, on to the dinner party. Duncan, you've got 5 minutes.
No,
Do your
6.
worst. 6 minutes. Do your worst. Should we start off with Girlfriend on the Outside?
Yes.
My hot new single?
That's actually,
Yeah, I know. It's my hot new single.
It's not bad,
that's really good.
Anyway, all the talk is about Bryce's secret girlfriend. Beck started the rumour, apparently.
It's not a rumor.
It's not a rumour.
Like, it clearly happened.
Yeah.
Like, she's got pure recall of it. It maps with every. Like, he basically agrees to the whole thrust of it, except the last part.
Apart from the gift. So I got a secret girlfriend, but I didn't get her a gift because I didn't want to get caught. Duh. Why are you making it all about me again?
Oh, he's so bad, but I just love watching him be on TV.
And he tries to pull everyone in the room onto his side of things. And then Beck says to him, "You're not an avocado. Not everyone loves you."
Yeah.
Great line.
Interesting. Does everybody love
I don't think they do. I think they're sort of notoriously loved
I think-
by most, but not all.
I think in Beck's circles,
True.
avocado
Pure
is like
avocado.
the queen fruit. You know?
I do know.
It's a fruit because it's got a seed inside, right? Can we say, is that how it works?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing, his arguing style is just, how is it? It can't have ever possibly worked even once. This like, hey, everybody who's plausibly in the same like city block as me, choose a side. By the way, I'll just quickly give you the TLDR of my position. It's completely unsustainable but incredibly loud. Who's with me? We're streaking the quad. Like, it's just so freaking useless.
He is
and yet he
terrible.
just really hammers it.
He's terrible in an argument. He does not. He would be terrible on a debating team. You don't want him on a debating team. He's going to bring you down. He's not getting Speaker of the Day.
But he's like, I'm the most honest person in the experiment.
She's
right?
lying.
It's just like, Just flailing.
But he clearly believes his lie because he's gotten off on some kind of mental technicality.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly
it's so
right.
weird.
Yeah.
He's found a loophole and he's just dived into it. At one point, he says, "Let's get on with this shit." And Jake's like, "Hey, don't swear, mate."
Yeah.
Jake
He
is
goes, oi, oi. He hates swearing, but then he didn't mind it later when Melissa was like, this is all bullshit.
Yeah.
And he's like, amen.
Yeah, well,
Respect to Jake.
yeah, I mean, I think that he had the presence of mind to understand when it was appropriate and when it wasn't. So then, after denying everything, just basically saying that conversation didn't take place with
I've never even been to a gym.
I've never met this girl Beck before in my life. He then admits that he met a girl on Tinder a couple of months ago and slept with her a couple of times.
We fucked. Yeah, we fucked.
Yeah.
What about it?
Ended 4 weeks before coming on here. And then everyone's like, so wait, you knew
So
you
you
were
would have
coming on the
known.
show.
Yeah, because he'd already
Yeah.
been accepted and was just like, might as well just.
But he's like, no, I didn't.
just going to quickly redo the facts.
Pat has a giggle at Bryce's expense and to a joke that someone else made, I think that Brett made.
The honesty thing. He was like, when he's like, I'm the most honest person, Brett was like, says who? And
Yeah.
then Patrick kind of cracked up.
Cracked
and
up.
then Bryce came for Patrick.
Bryce came back and Patrick was like, pipe down. I love
Watching
that.
little Patrick
I love
become
that.
like
Yeah.
that. Like it's like he's watching his dad do something and he's like got a spade in and he's trying to dig a hole next to us. It's just so amazing watching him play.
Patrick
play
and
the
Belinda
role.
really shone in this episode. They really came into their own. And Patrick was like so turned on by their combined effort to
Yeah.
stand up for each other and
It's like,
themselves.
it's sexy.
And she's like, it is not sexy. Stop saying that. You saying that makes it less sexy. And
undoes
it
it
wasn't
all.
sexy to begin with. And he's like, yeah, sexy.
Bryce also called Beck a fucking puppeteer. And again, that was the last straw. Jake leaps to the defence of Beck, his wife, and of all women, and says, say your piece by all means, but don't talk to my wife or any other woman at the table like that. Just... but he was
What a
cool-headed, firm but fair.
What a king.
And of course, in all this, Melissa's just like drowning at sea.
The whole
It's just
time.
horrible. I hate watching
Just
it.
welling
if,
up.
if Bryce could just be like just a crazy idiot, just spinning off on his axis, that would be fine. But just her being there, like trying or wanting to believe it, it harshes the toad.
Yeah.
And they've built this thing that if they survive these fights, it makes them stronger. Like
Yeah, that's the
Nope.
narrative.
That's called trauma.
Yeah.
And she really just, it's like what she thinks or feels, she's decided doesn't matter at all. Look, at all costs, stand by your man. There's no way she can't have seeds of doubt in her head after
Yeah.
everything that's taken place
Yeah.
at this dinner party. And yet she's still like, her responsibility is to her horrible husband.
And there was that specific bit of the story that Bex told as well, that Bryce had said it's going to be easy to get to the end with Liz.
Yeah. And she's proving it, right? Like she'll put up with anything. I feel so sorry for her.
I think Liz and Chris. Liz
Liz
and
and
Chris.
Chris.
Can you imagine?
I mean, it rhymes for a
it's
start.
great. It's great on paper.
Okay, disappearing James. Joe's had enough of James' bad behaviour. He disappeared for a couple of days. He straight out lies and says that he didn't come home. She insists, that he did come home. She insists he didn't. And at this point, Belinda finds her lovely little ballerina voice and tells James he's been treating Joe like shit, that he's been controlling, he's been confusing on the couch, and
It was amazing.
it was amazing. But then that moved into frigid Belinda. Not my words, James's words.
Just a crazy word, like a word that should not
It's
be.
a word
It's a
that, like,
throwback Thursday. I haven't heard that for...
yeah, it's
It
something
used to
that
be
like you'd
like-
say about like you when you're 12 years old about a girl who might not hold hands with someone.
Frigid and blue balls were like concepts that only exist, that were like very earnestly understood and obviously are just nightmarish in conception. But they were just like high school, just phenomenon. Like it was like medicine. Like you just got your early kind of sex education. And so like you kind of forget about them because they're so obviously just impossible, like they're impossibly stupid. And then there's this dude who's just wandering around, frigid. That's a concept that I stand by.
And he's trying to get out on a technicality,
Holy.
being like, it was a question, it wasn't a statement.
Yeah. I said, is she frigid? Not, she is frigid.
so amazing. It's so amazing.
and not an okay question to ask or word to use in reference to anyone else.
It's just one of the words that goes in the
Bin.
abandoned words place. Okay, I have to run. This has been so nice. Sorry
We're
to get all
back.
emotional about it.
It's so nice.
It's great. When can we? Oh, are you going to be back for MAFS, or what are we going to do?
Yeah, I'm going to keep going with maths, but also like, Jesus willing, there will be no more Bachelor from next week.
It's got to be nearly over.
So
There's
then,
after the
we're
final
just back.
roses,
They just got filmed, didn't they, this week?
which I am not involved in.
Oh, so you think maybe we
I
should talk
don't know.
about
You
it?
could
I'm
talk-
getting out on a
who
technicality.
knows?
I'm doing a James. I'm doing a James.
All right, I have to run, but
Okay.
I love it. I love being back. And
It wouldn't be the real pod without you running away. So
it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Run away,
It's,
Duncan.
very committed.
Okay.
Get out of here.
We don't have much more to talk about anyway.
Just Patrick. Patrick went into bat
Yeah.
for his wife.
Yeah, he sure
Said,
did.
Say sorry multiple times and made James issue. Was it like right?
First he said sorry. So, which is like a lot like what one of my children says to the other when they've like thumped them over the head, and I'm like, say sorry. And
Yeah.
they're like, sorry. And then Patrick's like, that is not good enough.
Yeah.
Say that wasn't a proper apology, say sorry. And then he did deliver what Duncan thought was a genuine apology,
Yeah.
but you and I know better.
Which I think was actually sorry. Yeah, really am.
really, I didn't mean to, I really didn't want to make you feel that way, but
Yeah.
it's like, well, you're sorry you got found out.
Yeah,
That's all it
exactly.
is. Lastly, the last topic of the dinner party is, of course, Liam and his sexual preferences.
Oh yeah.
So
Patrick had some questions.
Patrick had some questions. I mean, I don't know if Patrick was on. Because Patrick, of course, was drinking beer earlier in the night.
Yeah.
And frothing up a storm. I love the bromance between Patrick and Jake. Is it Jake?
Jake
Yeah.
and Brett, and then Brett's getting kind of jealous.
Yeah. But earlier, at the very beginning of the dinner party, Patrick's like, whenever I drink beer, it just like frosts right up. And Jake's like, well, how are you drinking it? Are you drinking it like with your mouth right around the top of the bottle, or are you like doing
Like a
something like a
half,
cup?
yeah.
And he's like, oh, I don't know. He's like, no, serious question, ma'am. Like, how are you doing?
It was so sweet. I love Patrick could be an alien. We've got to put it out there. He seems to be learning a lot about the human race.
He
over
is.
the course of this experiment.
What's that movie where the guy goes? It's like Brendan Fraser, and he's like kept in a bomb shelter or something.
Blast from the Past?
Is it Brendan Fraser or someone Brendan Fraser adjacent?
And it's Alicia Silverstone, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comes out and like learns about the modern world. It's Patrick.
It's Patrick. Oh, God bless him.
And Brett gets a bit jealous. Jumps straight onto Liam's lap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about doing
I
that.
don't know about doing that either.
Yeah.
And Liam, they showed a shot of Liam like reassuringly putting his arm around his wife while Brett was sitting atop his lap. But yeah, Patrick straight up asked Liam if he's bisexual, and then asked if he's been with more boys or girls, which I think in the context of the conversation that Georgia had with him over the honesty box was fine. I think at a dinner party in front of everyone, someone you've just met, not fine.
Yeah. Patrick didn't know any of that. He was really just taking a punt, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't know how open Liam was. The
No.
last he would have seen was that really awkward interaction at
At the wedding.
At the wedding.
Yeah.
Again, though, he's not well versed in it.
No, he's not.
Human,
He's
human
still-
interaction.
He's still learning, and he was at least one beer froth deep.
Yeah. But Liam's just amazingly open and seemed to take it well.
I love it. And Liam is a great example, and so is Georgia. So I'm very interested to see how all these new couples turn out.
Final conflict was Joe and James, their final big bust up.
What happened? I
When
don't
she was
remember.
like, you sit here thinking that you're fucking King Dick.
Oh yeah, do you know what that made me do? Go back
King Dingaling?
and watch the King Dingaling.
King Dingaling.
Yeah, the King Dingaling.
There's got to be a
clip.
king every season.
Yeah.
King Dingaling to
And
King
some
Dick.
king and some new word for the male anatomy.
Yeah.
Just a different one every time.
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to last, are they?
Oh, probably not.
I think they're probably done.
Probably
They're
done.
Probably done.
Yeah.
And just him when he put his arm around Kerry
Oh,
and
yes.
was like, I'm single, by the way, and was having this big Joker, kind of
It
maniacal
was
laugh.
maniacal. Like they've done some. I don't know if they've got like a new editor on board or someone new directing the edits, because there's been a lot of really amazing edits this season. Clearly, like Frankenbites and stuff out of completely out of context, but just such good quality, 30-second moments of just insane editing that just really hammers home the point. And this was one of them when James was just laughing like an absolute creature.
Yeah, and just his arm around Kerry.
Yeah.
I was just like, Kerry's new, leave her alone.
And just-
leave everyone alone.
And just so insensitive to his wife, who is clearly hurting and embarrassed and humiliated, and then he's doing that horrible thing of just being like massive in the room and kind of just huge open body
Peacocking
language
around.
and yes, peacocking. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
welcome.
Thanks, John. And that's us. Thank you very much to everyone for listening. Please tell your mates about this podcast. Thank you very much to Jonathan for recording. Thank you, Duncan, wherever you are. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you. And we'll be back next week with more maths. Can't wait.
Bye.
Talofa Lover. I'm Madeline Chapman, editor at The Spinoff. If you have the means, consider supporting our high-quality journalism by becoming a Spinoff member. Sign up now at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Do you find it hard staying optimistic with all the financial news in the media? I'm Bernard Hickey, and on my podcast, When the Facts Change, I'm here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of economics in Aotearoa. So join the conversation every Friday on When the Facts Change, brought to you by the Spinoff Podcast Network in partnership with KiwiBit.
The Spinoff Podcast Network.